Now we're ready to add text to our photo and create a really graphic image and get some more practice using those digital design tools. So let's learn a little bit more about fonts first before we use them. In graphic design, people will talk about serif fonts and sans serif fonts. So what does that mean? All a serif font is when a decorative stroke finishes off the ends of the letters. They look like little feet. A sans serif font, on the other hand, is smooth and doesn't have these little feet. Here's where it might be a little confusing. Serif and sans serif are two styles of fonts. They're not actual font names. So an example of fonts that have a serif style would be fonts like Times New Roman, Georgia, Merriweather, and tons of others. Examples of fonts that have a sans serif style would be fonts like Futura, Helvetica, Arial, Impact, and many others. So sans serif is a style of font. It's not an actual font name. You don't have to remember the names of these, but just know that these are two very common basic styles of text. There are tons of different kinds of fonts, and they all have different personalities. If you compare all these different logos, you'll see that they're communicating something completely different. Each has a different feeling or emotion. Some are scripty, some are decorative, some are more bold and in your face. Think about the type of personality you want to show through the words and fonts that you use. So when we add our font, what are we going to type? I've got 4 different options in keeping with our Spotify duotone trend. For the first option, you can choose a favorite song you've been listening to a lot lately, or you can choose a few song lyrics that really speak to you. Just don't use too many lyrics at once. We don't want our image to get too crowded. Or choose a favorite music artist and type their name, or a favorite music genre you like. And lastly, please keep this school appropriate, so no profanity or bad language, please. I really like the band Arctic Monkeys, so I'm going to use that for my text. Open your duotone photo in photopea.com and we'll get started. First, you're going to select the Type tool on the left-hand toolbar, or you can press the letter T on your keyboard. Once that is selected, then if you come up to the top here, you can change what font it is with this drop-down menu. And Photopea has tons of preset fonts, which are super fun to scroll through and choose from. And you can change the boldness of the font, you can change the size on the slider, or by selecting it and manually typing a different number for the size. Or you can change the color. My default is set to white right now. You can also change the alignment of your text, just like you can in Google Docs or like Word. So since we have our Type tool selected, we can click anywhere in our document and just start typing. If your letters are really small like mine, finish typing out your word and then hit the checkbox. Then you can zoom in on your document by pressing Ctrl and the plus sign on your keyboard. Press that a couple times, and then you can reselect your text and increase the size on the overhead toolbar. Once you click OK, press Ctrl and the minus sign on your keyboard to zoom back out. When you want to move this text around, select the Move tool from the toolbar on the left. It's going to be this arrow button here. Or you can press the letter V on your keyboard, and that's the shortcut to get you the Move tool. Now you can move the text around in your document wherever you want. You're going to have to switch back and forth a lot between the Type tool and the Move tool. You can't move text around if you have the Type tool selected, and the same thing for the other way around. You can't type anything if you have the Move tool selected. So just pay attention to which one you have selected, and just know that you'll have to switch back and forth a lot between the two. So now's the time to play with layout, size, and the color of your text, and all the different fonts. I decided to split the text so it's on 2 different lines, just to kind of break it up a little bit more. Then I made the text a little bit bigger. Play around with what you think looks best on the page. Does it look better in some places rather than others? Just play around with where the text could be placed. Deciding the layout or how you plan to organize all these things you've got on the page is a huge deal in graphic design. But I want you to have fun with it and just see what you think looks best. I changed the alignment of my text to align right, so that way it lines up with the edge of the photo, and I think it looks really clean. You don't have to do that, but just think about how you can make the edges of the text look jagged or look super straight and clean, then decide how you want yours to look. So I'm clicking through a ton of the different fonts now to see how they affect the overall feeling of the photo. What kind of personality does each bring to the table, you know? I kind of like this cutout effect. I think it looks really alternative, which I think fits the style of the band that I chose, so I'm going to stick with that one. Do what you think looks best for your photo and your word choice. Once you're completely finished and the text is just how you want it, you're going to do the same thing as you did last time. Click File, export as, and select JPG. Drag the quality slider to 100% and then click Save, and you are finished.